25,000 qualification got cancelled by ASQA, and a lot of people will definitely suffer from it, and it may get your visa cancelled. Let's talk about it. Hi, I'm Johnny. I'm a migration lawyer in Sydney, and I post daily content on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube Shorts to help you to get PR faster. So ASQA has been going full on since late 2024. They have cancelled around 21,000 in late 2024, and up until today in mid 2025, they've cancelled around 25,000 qualifications. So mostly the qualifications are the RPL certificates and also diploma from non-compliance private college. What's RPL certificate? Which is a certificate that allows you to use your previous work experience, and after a list of sets of assessments and eligibility checking and testing and document reviewing, then they may give you a certificate that's comparable to it. So say a certificate 3 or certificate 4. So for example, you've been working as a cook for 10 years in your home country, and you need a certificate to apply for 482 visa, a skills in demand visa, because you don't have a certificate 4 or something, and it was a bit hard to check and you want to be sure, then that's fine. You can go away and do the RPL certificate, use your past 10 years experience. If they consider you comparable to the level of skills required in that certificate, then they will give you a certificate 4 in kitchen management or cookery in the old days. Or 3. And unfortunately, there's other group of people that actually got impacted, which is people that gained the certificate or diploma from dodgy colleges. So the department has been targeting these dodgy colleges, and usually they provide really low quality teaching or low quality qualifications, and the campus is usually pretty run down. And typically colleges like that, they have a history of non-compliance. For example, you gain your qualification without actually going to the class, or you gain qualifications without sitting through some of the tasks or assessments. And once the college got busted, then the ASQA will cancel all the other qualifications associated with that. So that's the reason. It doesn't really matter how hard you work towards this qualification at that start, because once it's cancelled, it's cancelled. Now, if your qualification is about to get cancelled, then you'll receive an email saying, hey, we're considering cancelling your certificate. You have 7 days to respond. On this basis, then you just got to be very careful, because you got to construct your arguments, put forward your absolute best case, fight for your qualifications. And if your qualification is still unfortunately cancelled, what will happen is that once it's cancelled, you must return your qualification. Basically, you're surrendering your qualification back to the college or back to ASQA, then you'll lose your qualification. And if you applied a visa based on that particular qualification, and that would also have massive implication. For example, because you no longer meet the eligibility requirement. For example, you work as a aged carer, and then you need to have a certificate 3 in individual support, or say 2 or 3 years of experience if you don't have it. But now, if you have under 3 years experience and you don't have a qualification, that means you no longer meet the requirements of the visa. So recently, we have also seen people that got their qualification cancelled, and eventually they receive a notice of intention of cancelling visa from the Department of Home Affairs, and eventually that led to a visa cancellation because of a certificate got cancelled previously. So far, we haven't seen the department actually going full on and trying to cancel everyone's visa at the moment. They only target like various people. But if your qualification got cancelled and the department hasn't sent you any notification on potentially cancelling your visa, then the best idea is to please talk to a migration lawyer immediately and then arrange a replacement certificate. For this, then you shouldn't really do an RPL anymore. Otherwise, you do an RPL, then they got cancelled again, then what's the point, right? Usually you go for a more reputable education institution, something that is big or even listed, and you go for those institutions. And then of course you had previous experience working in that nominated occupation, then maybe they can extend some of the units, and you go through the assessment again, and you will have a certificate. Because what's worse is if you receive a notification of the department considering cancelling your visa, and then they may ask, hey, do you have a replacement certificate that we can use in order to keep your visa? By that time, you only have 28 days to fix it. It is impossible for you to gain a valid and legit certificate within 28 days, then it's very likely that you get your visa cancelled. Getting a visa cancelled isn't the end of the world because you can still go through ART, but what's the point? Because there's a massive level of stress there and it may impact your PR pathway down the line, so it's just not worth it. So the PSA announcement is the public service announcement from us is, number one, you make sure that you get your qualification not from somewhere cheap, but try to get it from somewhere that actually have a good reputation. If you go check out the campus to see if it's big, if it's solid, or is it like super rundown. If it's super rundown, then absolutely impossible. Go for the ones that makes you feel comfortable. Go for the ones that have been around for 10, 20, 30 years. Go for the ones that they have big money backing up, like in the back. So for us, we know a lot of colleges that have really solid financials, really solid operations, and they probably have one group that is running it, and then there's 20 of them, and they're, you know, maybe backed by massive capitals in the back. So those would be solid comparing to a mom and dad private college and try to do a bit of business here and there. And if that one failed, then get a cousin to start another college. That wouldn't be a nice move. Try to find one that is actually good. Find one that is not the cheapest, and then you got to go through the assessment again, then you get your certificate. And if you receive a qualification, or if you think that your qualification is shaky, the only way around it is to please obtain a new certificate in order to get around with it. Because imagine if your qualification get cancelled and they cancel your visa, then it will end up extraordinarily ugly. I hope it helps. So since you got it here, if you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit like, share it with your friends that you think they got it through a dodgy college or they got a dodgy RPL. If you got a question, pop in the comment sections and see what happened, and then hopefully we can help you out with that. Thank you so much for your time. I'll see you in the next episode to get PR faster.